Hey everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. This is the NoDQ Top 5 series. For this video, I will be discussing my top 5 favorite tag teams from the new generation era of WWE. So let's go ahead and get started. First team, or number 5 I should say, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, part of Camp Cornette. Owen Hart and the Bulldog were united as a tag team with Jim Cornette as their manager. Owen and the Bulldog being real-life brother-in-laws. They worked so well together as a team. They both had great in-ring abilities, and they excelled as a tag team throughout 1996. And then they broke away from Jim Cornette. For a while, they had Clarence Mason as their manager. And then they had a little bit of a falling out when they faced each other in a one-on-one match to crown the first ever European champion. And there was this whole storyline of Owen Hart being jealous that the Bulldog won the title from him in that final match. They did get back together, though, shortly after WrestleMania when Bret Hart came out after his heel turn and had the trio reunite. Great segment if you've never seen it, by the way. Bret Hart making Owen Hart cry, making the Bulldog cry. The three of them hug it out, and the American fans are just in pure disgust over it. Owen and the Bulldog would continue to be aligned throughout 1997 before finally going their separate ways after the Montreal Screwjob when the Bulldog went over to WCW. Coming in at number 4, the two dudes with attitudes, Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel. From the moment that Diesel came into WWE, the two of them were basically connected in some way. Whether they were friends or enemies, they always had an association. At first, Diesel came in and was the bodyguard for HBK, but over time, that professional relationship turned into a friendship, both on screen and off screen. And in 1994, they ended up teaming together, and they were basically a duo. They were always there in the storylines, working together as allies. But then, after winning the tag team titles in the summer of 94, they started having their issues, and eventually Diesel had enough of Shawn Michaels and went off on his own, won the WWE Championship, but shortly thereafter, Shawn Michaels also became a babyface character, and the two dudes with attitudes were reunited in the later part of 1995. They were once again teaming up for a while, but then Diesel turned heel and they had their issues again before Diesel finally left the company, heading over to WCW. But even years later, when Kevin Nash came back to WWE as part of the NWO, you once again had that reunion between Michaels and Nash for one last time. And now for my number 3 tag team of the new generation era, the Legion of Doom. LOD had this great run in WWE during the early 90s, and then almost 5 years later, February 1997, they made their epic return at the Manhattan Center. The crowd went nuts, LOD chants everywhere. LOD proven that they still had more business to take care of in WWE. At WrestleMania 13, they teamed up with Ahmed Johnson against the Nation of Domination and were victorious in their hometown of Chicago, Illinois. LOD would try to win the tag team titles, but they'd be going back and forth in matches with Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, but they were unsuccessful at capturing the titles. It got to the point where they had to do something, and they ended up putting their careers on the line against the Godwins for a shot at the tag team titles. And fortunately for LOD and for the fans, they did emerge victorious and defeated the Godwins to become tag team champions. Unfortunately, that reign got cut short by a rising team called the New Age Outlaws. LOD would go into 1998. They would reinvent themselves for the Attitude Era, but for that late New Generation era, it was definitely a nice welcome to see them back in WWE. And I think it was a good pickup for WWE, considering the fact that they were struggling in the Monday Night Wars. WCW had all these old stars, and WWE needed needed some star power. So LOD definitely helped the company when it came to boosting the tag division in '97. And now for the number 2 tag team of the new generation, the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart Gunn. Billy and Bart came into WWE in 1993 and quickly became one of the most dominant tag teams in the company. They were very popular with the fans, 2 good-looking guys with the cowboy hats and the jeans. They had a very lengthy run in WWE as a tag team. They came in '93. They would win the tag team titles. They ended up defeating, of all teams, Yokozuna and Owen Hart to become tag team champions. And then in 1996, we saw a bit of a change from the team. They cut their hair, they shaved off the mustaches, and then they turned heel. They joined up with Sonny, and we saw a new side of the Smoking Guns, a more sinister side of them, and they would continue to be a dominant tag team in WWE going into 1997. Eventually, they would split off. Bart Gunn would be doing his own thing, eventually would be in the Brawl for All, and Billy Gunn would become Rockabilly, but better things were to come for Billy Gunn. However, the Smoking Guns, they had a fairly dominant run in WWE, and maybe that team tends to get overlooked because Billy Gunn ended up becoming part of the New Age Outlaws, but certainly during that 93 to 97 period, the Smoking Guns were at the forefront of the tag team division. And now for the number 1 tag team of the new generation era, I had to go with Yokozuna and Owen Hart, because Yokozuna alone, he's a tough act to handle. And then you have Owen Hart on top of it. They were a very dominant team. They defeated the Smoking Guns to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania 11. Yokozuna was Owen Hart's mystery partner, and you can't really get any better of a partner than Yokozuna. When you have that massive giant of a man in your corner, things are looking pretty good. Owen Hart and Yokozuna would dominate the tag team scene throughout 1995, and then they ended up facing Shawn Michaels and Diesel at the In Your House pay-per-view in September 1997, but there was some controversy. Owen Hart was late to the building, so the British Bulldog became the substitute. However, Owen Hart ended up showing up at the last minute, interfering. Owen Hart got pinned, but then the argument was the wrong guy got pinned. Owen wasn't actually in the match, despite the fact that him and Yokozuna were the tag team champions. So due to the controversy, Gorilla Monsoon reversed the decision, and it ended up being the Smoking Guns that won the tag team titles back from Yokozuna and Owen. Yokozuna and Owen Hart would continue to team up into the early part of 1996, but then with the arrival of Vader, things changed. Camp Cornette suddenly got very crowded, and it was Yokozuna who ended up being phased out of Camp Cornette in favor of Vader, and that would mark the end of the Yokozuna and Owen Hart team. But while they were a team, it's hard to argue that there was a better team during that period, because you had Owen Hart doing all the high-flying moves, and then you had Yokozuna, the powerhouse, and they were just a great match together and worked very well as a tag team. All right, that will wrap it up for my top 5 tag teams of the new generation era of WWE. Let me know what you thought about this video. If you enjoyed it, you see that subscribe button? Give that subscribe button the Owen Hart sharpshooter, or Enziguri kick for that matter. Whatever you prefer, bonsai drop, whatever works, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Tell a friend, spread the word about NoDQ.com, and stay tuned to NoDQ for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Thanks for watching, guys.